Now, Olaf, we all like a whale or dolphin video, but looking at 20 years worth of them sounds like kind of overkill. That must have been a mammoth effort.
Yes, and we actually been through every single frame, so second by second, wanting to make sure that we get capturing every single behavior in there. And of course, the filtering of all those videos, there were thousands that we obviously could not include in the study because we had pretty strict rules on what we could include and what not.
Yeah, so what were those rules? And tell us about some of the interactions that you saw in these videos.
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that we know the place and also the date and ideally also the time so that we can avoid replicates and also that we know the source, so the photographer who actually took the material. And some of the really interesting behaviors we found are sometimes even touching, so so-called petting, where the dolphins were trying to actually touch or actually did touch the whales, which is more rare. And then the more common behaviors specifically for humpback whales was belly presentation, rolling, and sort of positive interaction with the dolphins as well. Of course, there's also neutral behavior where there's been no response to the presence of dolphins. But just doing this study and across different species from really different places around the world has been very interesting and eye-opening.
Yeah, so we do often see videos of whales playing and dolphins playing. Why is this contact between the two species significant?
So one of the theories could be just like humans, they need some creative time. So time that is, for their brain to actually relax and activity that is not purpose driven, such as finding food or, reproduction. So actually a time where they can just, sort of enjoy the moment. And clearly humans do need that. And whales and dolphins are intelligent species and they do need that time as well.
And how can you tell whether an action is sort of joyful and relaxed as opposed to, hostile or even just like purely curious?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, if the whales are moving towards the dolphins, that is a pretty good sign. And if they're doing this slowly and gentle, and also doing behavior that's usually associated with positive behavior, such as courtship behavior, then that's a good indication. And we've also seen aggressive behavior, sometimes where the whales are tail slapping or rushing through the water and avoiding the dolphins. So that would be a sign that they're not wanting to be close to them. That happens when there's feeding competition, for instance.
And I know it wasn't the focus of this study, but you have also found evidence that dolphins and whales could be, in essence, talking to each other.
Yes, I mean, of course, we don't know what their vocalization or communication is all about, and that is something that we still need to find out. But there's certainly a lot of communication happening. So the whales are vocalizing, the dolphins are clicking, and they're talking to each other about their presence. And certainly they will have frequencies that define the presence of the other species. But, whether they actually are able to communicate, likely not. But we would like to learn more about this.
How close are the two species to each other?
Well, it seems that the dolphins clearly the ones seeking the interaction with the whales, but they're also wanting to be close. So we're talking about less than a whale length, that was our definition, and they wanting to be close to the head, often in eyesight, so with visual contact. So I suppose, this sort of indicates that there is an interest from the dolphins to get a response from the whales.
And what is the next step in your research? Do you have sort of your next project lined up in relation to this?
Yes, so we're hoping to actually get full interactions, meaning from the start to the very end of this. At the moment, we've looked at snapshots, so sometimes we only capture a couple of minutes or even only seconds. And so it would be very good to get enough material to look at, how does this all begin and how does this interaction end?
And I guess overall, just a good reminder that we should relax and play more.
Absolutely.
Olaf, thank you so much for your time this evening on the ABC News channel. We very much appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.